I'm all alone today. I've been abandoned. I have no friends, no co-host, no one to talk to. Wait, unless... Hello, Chimmy listeners, and welcome back to another episode of the Chimichanga Superstar Podcast. This is probably episode like 52 or 51 or something, because I don't keep track. Well, I've been abandoned today. I have no co-host. Bryant decided to die again in a fiery blaze. That man keeps dying and keeps coming back. So I thought I'd try something. I was going to record sometime later. Instead, I'm going to do this. Professor Elliot said he wants to talk to me. He's going to Skype in, and I'm just going to go ahead and throw him on the podcast. He has no clue this is going to happen, and I'm excited because I love messing with him. He's awesome. So as soon as he calls in, I will do that. But until then, I just wanted to go ahead and give you all a wonderful shout-out. Thank you so much, so much for getting involved with us on this anti-pumpkin spice campaign. Jimmy Purcell has definitely crossed the dang line. And we're going to show the world why the pumpkin spice world is an evil, twisted world. Oh, wait a minute. There's my Skype call now. Professor!
Hey, Christian! What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. I'm recording a podcast right now, and you're on it.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you, I guess.
Say hi to everybody. Say hi to the internet.
Hey, internet. Hi. That's... Okay, well, I guess I'm on the podcast tonight.
If you're new to the show for some reason, this is Professor Elliot, a dear friend of ours who, does professory things.
Document the obscure is the general tagline, I think.
And if you're not new to it, yes, I whore this man out a lot. He's awesome.
It happens. Apparently even without my consent. But that's okay. That's okay. I don't mind being whored out without my consent.
Consent. Ha!
Ha!
So you sent me a message earlier. You said you wanted to chat. What's up?
Oh yeah, so on my YouTube page, you had commented that you were looking for info on like summoning a beer god.
Yes.
I have some info on that for you, actually.
Oh, it's happening. It's finally happening.
It's finally here.
Well, hang on. Before we get started, I need to open my beer.
Yeah.
Fans, today we are drinking, very ironic, Ninkasi Brewery. We got
That's
to try
the one I was
hops.
telling you about earlier, yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that. I just love that. Anyways, I'm drinking the Tricera hops, double IPA.
Nice. You know, if I'm on the podcast, just a second. Let me go to the fridge and see if I can get a beer myself.
You do
just
that.
A second.
I'm gonna pop this cherry while you do that.
All right.
Oh yes. I think he just like headbutt the fridge there. What the heck? Oh, look at that.
All right, I got something myself here.
Oh, okay.
That'll be good.
What are you drinking there, Professor?
Let me see. I just grabbed something. It's the Leinenkugel's Harvest Patch Shandy. It
Harvest Patch?
Kind of tastes like a pumpkin spice kind of a thing.
Professor, why are you drinking pumpkin spice on my show? You know I'm in the middle of a war with Jimmy Purcell right now on the pumpkin spice. Yeah, I'm that asshole, and you're that asshole. What'd you just do this for?
I don't know. First thing in front of the fridge, just kind of grabbing a beer. You know what? How about this?
This is why it's so wrong, because there's so much pumpkin spice. You just accidentally landed on pumpkin spice.
Here's what I'll do to make it up for you. Okay. Mm-hmm. I still want to go theme to the month. For my next beer, I'll grab a second beer. I've got a Sam Adams Oktoberfest. How about that?
That is acceptable, but you must thoroughly suffer, and you must hate the beer you're drinking.
Okay, I'll hate this beer.
Yes, you're going to hate it. So I'm going to go ahead and take a moment of silence.
I hate this so much.
Moment of silence with my Tricera hops. Ooh. Kind of like a tangy marmalade flavor.
Gross.
Are you successfully hating your
totally
pumpkin spice?
Yeah, this is awful. But I'm sure even you would agree you can't waste a beer. I have to drink this.
Absolutely. If you just poured that out and got rid of it, you and I would have words, Professor.
It would probably be worse than
the one thing worse than drinking pumpkin spice anything is wasting beer.
True. Okay, I understand. That's
All
We're
right,
on
so
the
let's
same
get
page.
off the pumpkin spice thing, because you know me. I'll get stuck
Yeah.
on a rant for a week,
Yeah,
and
so,
the big debate's coming up. So
definitely.
talk to me. You wanted to talk
Let's
about
talk
Ninkasi and her
Ninkasi.
wonderful
So
beer
I
cleavage.
told you about the Sumerian goddess of alcohol, Ninkasi.
Yes.
I heard about her, but I didn't have much information.
And she tastes hoppy.
Yeah. I have not actually tried the brews that you're trying. I'd be curious to try it sometime. But I did find some more info for you. One of the main things I found was a hymn to Ninkasi that was written on a tablet. The tablet was from, let's see, older than 2000 BC.
Okay.
So it's well over 4,000 years old. And it's kind of a mixture between a song and a recipe for beer.
Interesting. I'm liking it already.
So it's got a full recipe for beer. It was made as a kind of a steady cadence, so it was easy to remember the recipe. Because at the time, most people probably did not have the ability to read and write, especially because you wrote on clay tablets, and that's expensive really quickly.
But very classy.
I don't know that there's many more classier ways to write than on a clay tablet.
Yep.
It's traditional.
I agree. I mean, the only thing classy than that is to write on the back of a naked woman's body, and we just can't do that. It's not socially acceptable anymore.
I think maybe that was the original method. But
I do remember I gave someone my phone number that way. I just grabbed a lady, asked her to take her clothes off, wrote my number on her back, and said, "Could you go home with this fine gentleman? He needs to call me tomorrow."
With this fine gentleman, I see.
See, I'm the best wingman ever. All I do is just give out my number. Anyways, back onto the Ninkasi lady.
Right. So they've got a full recipe here. I don't know if you wanted to hear the basic idea of the recipe.
Lay it on me, sister.
So first off, you start with flowing water.
Okay.
What's interesting is that they start with that because it's if you're using standing water, you've got more bacteria and things like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's interesting from a biological standpoint. You make some bread with it. You mix the bread with honey and dates. You cool it off, mix it with water and wine, and you put it in the fermenter, filter it. And in this part where they say to filter it, the quote translates something to, it makes a pleasant sound.
It makes a pleasant sound.
Yeah, when you filter it. Yeah. So that's pleasant. Once it's filtered, you put it into a collector vat and pour it into jars.
Great.
They say that the pouring of the beer is kind of like the onrush, quote, like the onrush of the Tigris and Euphrates. So it's kind of like those two rivers brought life to those who drank it.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's the living essence of beer.
So it starts off as a recipe, but it was, as far as we can tell from other writings, it was also used as a praise song for Ninkasi, the goddess of alcohol. She was
my favorite goddess of alcohols.
Of course, she brewed beer for the gods. I mean, the perfect beer, literally.
And it sounded fantastic, apparently.
Well, yeah, and if you were to get some of her brew, it would be the most perfect beer you had ever tried. Period. It's so if you're gonna call forth some goddess, this is the one to look for. Especially because as far as we can tell, I mean, beer's been around for a while, but the first recipes we have that are written down come from the Sumerians.
Yeah, that's long,
and they
long,
claim
long,
they got
long
the
time
recipe
ago.
from Ninkasi, so I'd say she's the one to talk to.
Well, I'm gonna call her up. I think I have her number in my Rolodex.
All right, yeah, definitely do that. It's
Yeah.
interesting, apparently women were brewers for a long while before commercial production began.
Hot.
And even when commercial production began, like when people drew images of brewers, they still drew them as women.
I still draw them as women.
Who else would you draw?
Pictures
Do
of
it.
me. I actually have an entire notebook of pictures of just me.
Just you.
It's my
Just
favorite thing. I
drinking
just
beer?
like drawing myself.
You need to draw a couple drawings of yourself brewing beer now.
A female version of myself brewing beer.
Ah,
I like
that
it.
Could be
I'll get right
essential.
on it.
That could be essential in your hymn to Ninkasi.
I will make myself a woman for your beer exposures. Wait, that sounds different. Never mind.
It's
Okay.
a little bit different. That's a little bit different. Beer's been around forever, man. It's been used everywhere.
I'm going to hop in on this. So I want to sniff this bad boy here, the Tricera hops.
You're gonna sniff it.
Yeah, I'm going to sniff it. Is that okay with you?
That's totally fine by me.
It's like white pepper and hops.
Hmm.
It's got a good sniffability.
Good sniffability.
And it's pretty good. Like I think I was getting on saying something about this tasting like a tangy, fruity marmalade and hops. Like really hoppy, but still kind of got those other flavors going for it.
Ah. Yeah, I definitely want to try that.
I like it, sir. I like it. It's beer. I already like it.
It is a beer.
It's a very good beer.
So if it's a beer, you like it?
Yeah. Even if I don't like it, I like it.
Oh, that's good, because I was going to ask you about this Harvest Patch Shandy.
It tastes like shit.
But you like it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting position to hold.
It takes a lot of willpower and dedication to be one with Jimmy.
Huh.
Yeah, we're like the Jedis of beer.
That's it's an interesting approach.
Mm-hmm. You have to like it. You have to hate it. You have to be one with the beer.
That's who Ninkasi is.
Mmm. I think she and I'll get along just fine.
I believe so. I believe so.
Maybe that's what Lord Chimmy is trying to get me to find. Who knows?
Ooh, so maybe you're saying that Ninkasi is like the tutelary goddess of Chimmy.
Okay, so we don't exactly know what he wants us to do. Lord Chimmy, the one who actually founded our organization and gave us our powers.
You just get like subtle clues?
Yeah, we get subtle clues because unfortunately Lord Chimmy's always really sloppy drunk. But you can never really tell until he starts talking.
Okay.
Now, basically, my first impression is that he hooked up with some chick and he's trying to find her again. So he sent us out and we're supposed to try every beer we can get our hands on. But I don't quite get the correlation to that. But maybe that's the clue. Maybe it's the beer is the clue to the goddess that he hooked up with.
The beer itself.
Yeah, so
Ninkasi is definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps,
so I'll keep drinking all the Ninkasi beer while I find a way to actually find Ninkasi.
That is a modern company, so that might not be what you're looking for.
Don't give me an excuse not to drink all of their beer.
No, I'm saying try it.
Did you know that they actually have a beer that's made out of space yeast?
Space yeast?
Space yeast.
Well, I know that they have space beer.
There's actually space beer.
Yeah, well, because okay, so back in the day, back in the day, you know, space exploration.
So 1992.
Yes, 1992. Well, when you look into the history of space exploration, most accounts say, "Oh, no one's drinking anything in space. What are you talking about?" Especially the U.S. The U.S. is like, "No, why would we drink in space? There's no gravity, and why would we talk about that? That's ridiculous." The story changes a little bit when you talk to the Russians.
Okay.
The Russians, for one thing, they actually had alcohol in their med kits. And
okay. I like it.
Honestly, if
very Russian of them.
Right. And I don't think there's any chance they didn't drink it. I mean, really, honestly, who wouldn't want to be the first person to have a drink in space? Honestly, there is one story of people drinking in space, but it's not like drinking for the drinking's sake. It was communion on the moon.
Communion on the moon.
So before they went on the lunar surface, they drank wine, communion. So that did happen. However, there was a group of people that developed a beer just to be used in space. Because here's the tricky part. Physics, because of the way physics works in zero gravity, beer doesn't function the same way in space. If you brew it down here on Earth, it won't taste the same, it won't act the same in space. In fact, the very way that it settles on your tongue, it affects your taste buds differently.
So how will it taste? How will it affect?
Well, it tastes a little bit more flat. The flavors don't stand out as much.
Curses.
So, yeah, it's
space beer sucks.
Space beer would suck. Exactly. So there was this group. I'm trying to find exactly who it was. I don't recall. There was a group that actually developed a space beer. They went through and they used special kind of yeast. They developed a special kind of carbonation. They boosted the flavors in it, and they made it so that way if you drank it in space, it would actually taste like good beer.
Interesting. But then what would it taste like down here?
It would taste like shit down here.
See, this is just where it gets weird.
That's the trouble of it, isn't it?
I think instead what I'll do is I will get someone so sloppy drunk that they black out. And you know the whole thing of like, you know, you get someone drunk, they black out, you move them somewhere else and they wake up like in someone's front lawn. I want to like get someone, you know what, probably Bryant. I want to get him so sloppy drunk that he wakes up in space.
I would like to be involved with that. However, I can possibly be involved with that. If there's a chance I can be involved with that, I want in. Period.
How do you think a hangover in space would be? If you woke up hungover as all heck, but you're floating, do you think that would be better or worse?
Very unpleasant. I don't know, man. Like, there's part of me that thinks like the zero gravity might affect your blood flow, that just make things worse. I don't know. Woo-hoo. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that.
So then all we need to do is record this, and we'll call it science.
See, there you go. Yeah. You know, as far as I can tell, there's a few things that probably happened in space that just weren't shared. There's probably several things that happened in space that weren't shared. I mean, at one point, there was a newlywed couple that went to space. And they claim, even though they were up there for like a good couple of months, they claim they didn't have sex.
Yeah, right. That's like the first thing I do up there is try to find that out.
If you have just gotten married and you're in space, why would you not become the first couple to have sex in space?
I've actually designed specialized straps and harnesses to wear, so that way you can like, keep a hold of each other floating around doing that.
Show me those designs sometime.
Will do.
Piques my interest.
It came from a conversation I had when I worked at a certain job where we needed to wear a harness while you're on a lift. And I thought, you know what? If you have a handle here, here, and here, and the other person has the same get-up with handles here, here, and here, you could just go to town in zero gravity with absolutely zero problem.
That's an interesting question to handle.
Ha! Handle. I like it. What a great accidental pun, Professor.
Yeah, accidental. Wow. Yeah, drinking in space would be nice. I know that there was another group that designed a cup specifically designed for drinking like martinis in space.
We'll martini it up.
Let me take a look. Because the problem with a cup, of course, and liquid in space is that the liquid will just flow all the way around the edges. There's nothing holding it down. So you need to design something that will physically hold the liquid downward, right?
Sure. Science.
Science, yeah.
Science and shit.
So they've designed. Oh, here's an image of it. That's really cool. Okay, so basically they've designed a cup. There's no stem to it. There's a stem, but there's no base to it because why would you need a base if you're not setting it down anywhere?
Reasons.
Reasons. They have this bizarre kind of ruffled interior. Let me see if I can send you a link, and you can help me describe this to the listeners a little bit. So it's a cocktail glass, and it's been designed so that the ruffles lead to one point on the glass, so that whenever you bring it to your lips, the liquid will flow directly to you.
That looks like a sex toy, Professor.
A little bit.
That very much looks like a sex toy.
Very much, yes. But you can use it to drink, so maybe dual purpose?
I'm sorry, I could not dual purpose something I'm going to drink out of if it's a sex toy. That looks like it's a sex toy that is used. That actually looks like a dual purpose sex toy. It looks like it's supposed to be used for you to penetrate and to use as a penetration tool.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does.
Yep.
That's disheartening because that's the only design that they've come up with for an actual glass you can drink out of, not a pouch.
Yeah, that definitely looks like a sex toy. I think I'm going to buy one of those.
Just in case?
Why are you disappointed?
I don't know.
We just found a new sex toy.
True. You can buy them.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking right now.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, it's all 3D printed, so you can just get one printed up. Love 3D printers.
Love 3D printers.
Love.
They print you love in the form of fake martini glasses. Seriously, it's camouflage. It's a sex toy. When someone asks, you just pretend it's...
You just say, oh, it's a martini glass.
In space.
Whoa.
You could probably say that about anything that looks kind of weird. And it's from space.
They have 3D printers in space now, too.
What do they 3D print in space?
Anything they need. So, maybe sex toys.
It gets lonely on that thing.
Because the trick up there is that if something breaks down, the only thing they have to fix it is what they have on board. And you can't bring duplicates of every single part, obviously. The
problem is you can't 3D print duct tape.
True, but they have duct tape up there.
They should have tons of duct tape up there. In fact, I'm surprised the ship isn't surrounded by a giant roll of duct tape just in case.
They have a lot of duct tape. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's part of how we got Apollo 13 back.
Duct tape?
Duct tape. Yeah, that's at least part of it.
I think that's the majority of it, duct tape.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was one of those, square peg in a round hole things. And they're like, how do we fit this? Oh, duct tape.
Well, let's move on to some fun news, shall we?
Sure thing.
A lot of people are upset about the Pope.
The Pope.
Everyone's
upset with him.
Everyone's been talking about this Pope being like the coolest Pope that's ever been Pope. He is he's Poperific.
Right.
He is the potpourri of all popes.
I think maybe part of it is he just knows how to communicate with the population a little bit more.
I agree. And I think that's where he wins. I think he understands what people are actually want. I think he also understands that the world is changing, and you can't force it not to change. It's going to change.
Right.
But we all know a young lady who is very, 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 very kind and loving, Kim Davis. The lady who refuses to give up marriage license to people of same-sex lovingness.
Boo.
Well, not she, but her lawyer claims that the Pope actually took time during his United States visit to meet with her.
Actually, I actually found out the details of this story, if you're interested.
Lay it on me, sister.
So, apparently, the truth of this is, and this is, when you find out, you go, oh, lawyers are going to do this, apparently. So, the truth of the matter is, he invited a group of 100 or 200 people to just come and say hi. And she happened to wander in. They said hi. That was it. There was no conversation there. There was no discussion there. The Pope himself didn't even really choose who was going to be in the room.
Well, I had not heard that part yet.
The Pope has very, very much distanced himself from her already. And they released some statement saying, oh, she was in that room? Yeah, we don't really like her, and we'd really not rather comment on her story.
Well, her attorney is notorious for trying to get attention to the whole thing. He even went as far, when she got released, he went as far to take a photo for another event that was happening locally and claimed that all those people gathered for her when that was a completely different gathering. But let me lay it on this, people, because we do live in an era where people will read a headline of something and think they have the whole story. So let me be really simple for the people. No, it does not appear that Kim Davis was very, very, very discreetly and privately interviewed and loved by the Pope. He did not go, it's me, the Pope. I'd like to talk to you a moment about what you're doing right or wrong. What he wound up doing is essentially talking to a group of people, as Professor laid out. However, even if he did invite her down, even if it was a one-on-one meeting, she is a person who's claiming to be very faithful to her religion, whether she's doing it her way or what. Let's think about it this way. He is the leader of his religion. He's the head of it. That's a religious matter, whether it's not Catholic or Christian or whatever she claims to be this time of the day. Let's be completely honest, people. He's the Pope. He's in charge of religion. Even if he did invite her down, who gives a damn?
So let's go biblical on this real quick.
Let's go biblical, bitch.
Let's go biblical.
Do it.
Matthew the apostle. There were 12 apostles. One of them was named Matthew, right?
He was
really
apostles,
dishonest,
yes.
And he was a tax collector. Like he was a really greedy man who liked stealing shit, right? Then he starts following Jesus, and Jesus is like, "You shouldn't steal shit." And the guy looks at his job.
Exact words, by the way. That's a direct quote.
Direct quote from Jesus Christ himself.
Don't
steal shit. So Matthew looks at his job and he goes, oh, I have to steal shit from my job. And he looks at Jesus and he says, well, I like this guy. And he looks at his job and says, well, I can't follow this job and follow Jesus, so I guess I'm going to quit. And he quit his job. Kim Davis, on the other hand, thinks she can have her cake and eat it too.
Have you seen that woman? She eats her cake.
Someone compared her to Roz in Monsters, Inc.
Ew.
And,
yeah.
And my only comment is...
I can't unsee it now.
My only comment is, don't put Roz in that same category. Roz is a good person.
She's a good monster, to be very kind.
Good monster. You're right. I apologize.
Don't discriminate
I did
against
not
monsters.
mean to be insensitive. Yes, Roz is not a person. Roz is a slug-type creature. Extra
I
slim.
still can't get over how I think the Pope works in my mind. I know he's from like Italy or somewhere near that area, so I keep thinking he sounds like Mario.
Well, no, he's from Argentina.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's Argentinian.
Oh, I thought he was Italian.
No, he came from he grew up in the Argentinian place and immigrated when he became Pope.
I can't do an Argentinian voice. I can just do the Mario voice. Wahoo! It's
Just start
me, the
listening to
Pope.
clips of the Pope. You'll eventually be able to pull it off. The guy speaks like 5 or 6 languages.
Does he speak asshole?
Huh? It's possible. I think you have to know asshole if you want to be able to speak to the masses.
You know that dude's taking some of the wine to his room, being like, "Oh, been a long day. Popey needs some wine."
Oh my.
Popey needs some
I
wine.
finally found the article that I was looking for on the alcohol in space.
Lay it on me.
And here's the most disappointing part of the article.
Oh.
So, Apollo 8, first manned mission to leave Earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
They went around the moon, right? So, 1968, they're up there celebrating Christmas, and NASA has a little box in the locker that says open on Christmas, right? They open it up, and what do they find inside? Brandy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Brandy Christmas surprise. And the mission commander, Frank Borman, was kind of a no-nonsense guy and said, no toast, put the booze back.
That asshole.
What the hell? Come on, man. You could have been the first people to, like, drink in space.
You could have been the first people to have an orgy in space.
Who knows if that's already happened?
Well,
They don't stream everything from space back down to the Earth.
I don't think that Apollos 1 through 7 had much by way of orgies.
Okay. Admittedly, you know what? That makes sense. They were probably a bit too busy.
They were probably a bit too scared out of their shitters.
On rockets without computers.
Yes.
So-
Houston, we have a soiled diaper.
This is back in the days when they had so little tech that when Apollo 13 got stuck, they had to use calculus on paper.
They had abacus.
They're like flipping through an abacus going, shit, how do we get home? How do we get home? How do we get home?
Land on soft shit. Okay, that's what the abacus says to do. That's what math tells us to do.
Land on the
soft
soft
shit.
Right over there. Right over there. That looks
That
soft.
giant pile of cow shit. Land in it.
Jeez.
What else do we got? Oh, I got a fun one for you. Streamers. Video game streamers and all that. They're like the big rave. Yeah, like Twitch and all that.
That's huge these days.
Apparently it's pretty big in Japan too.
Really? Oh, well,
yeah.
that makes sense, honestly. That makes sense.
One streamer's a 40-year-old man, goes by Daisuke online.
Daisuke.
This man wins the Chimmy Genius Award.
Okay.
He took a break from filming, or from streaming his games, and he still had the camera rolling on him. And he's showing off his brand new Zippo-like lighter. He's like,
Okay.
oh yeah, I've never had one of these before, but I love it. It's so cool. And he, right there on camera, opens it up and admits he has no idea what he's doing. Fills it with lighter fluid.
Oh no. I feel like I know where this is going, but
Closes it and lights it, and the whole thing bursts into flames. Now, this man does a series of things, and I'm going to go down them in order and explain how his house burnt down completely and his family
dear
got
God.
very, very injured.
Oh.
So, step 1. The lighter, which is a flame and covered in lighter fluid, and leaking lighter fluid, I might add,
Right.
he threw it in a plastic bag full of paper scraps.
No! No!
On camera.
No.
And then, apparently, when you leak lighter fluid all over stuff, and that lighter fluid is a flame, the paper scraps in the plastic bag will burst into flames as well.
That makes sense to me.
So he tries to tie off the plastic bag to cut off some oxygen.
But the plastic's gonna melt. The plastic's gonna catch fire.
Onto the next step. Take it and throw it off into the corner of the room.
Not into, like, the bathtub or something?
Well, no, because the corner of the room he threw it into was actually where he got all the open cardboard boxes from the packages he got recently.
What? No! No!
So, of course, when this plan didn't work, he wanted the next idea. He grabbed more cardboard and started trying to throw it on top of it to try to put it out and smother it.
No! Stop doing what you're doing! You're making it worse, dear God!
When that didn't work, he just grabbed heaps of paper to throw on top of it to try and smother it more.
No!
Because for some reason, his bedroom is completely just filled with scraps of paper. Who knows why? Apparently, he planned this whole thing. But you can see that the lighter fluid, which is still aflame, is leaking all over the place.
Oh, God.
And he does the first smart thing he's done since this whole thing started. He grabbed his mattress to smother it.
No!
And as he smothers it, he picks it back up. And then smothers again, and picks it back up. And
No,
smothers again.
you're stoking the fire!
Again, and again, and again until the mattress is on fire. Well, then the streamers get to watch as he panics and leaves the room, and the room quickly bursts into flames entirely, and the whole house burns down, wounding, I do believe, 3 members of his family.
Oh, God. What? I can't even think of something to say after that.
Daisuke, you win the Genius Award. You are fantastic, sir. Congratulations. Your prize is in the mail. It's a big.
Can we
big
contact
paddle to smack
the
yourself with.
Darwin Awards? Get this guy at least a what do you call it? An honorary Darwin Award?
Oh, I forgot the other part. What happens in an oil-based fire when you pour water on it?
Explodes.
Yeah, he decided to take his bottle of water in. That's when it really got to be a fun party. I feel so horrible talking about this in such a light because people did get hurt and people lost their home. But I'm sorry. I watched it twice. It looked like it couldn't be real. It looked like something you would see on like an SNL skit, but it was completely.
That sounds like a Mr. Bean thing.
Yeah, really, it does.
What? Why?
I don't know.
Hey, apparently Mr. Bean is 25 years old today.
25 years old. He
Yep.
looks a little older.
Well, 25 this show is.
He might want to change his diet up, live a little healthier, do some more exercise. He's not looking his age.
You know, I recently looked up the translated lyrics for the intro, because the intro's got that kind of holy-sounding choir speaking in Latin. The translated lyrics.
Please tell me it says Satan is here, Mr. Bean is Satan.
Well, no,
the Antichrist is here, Mr.
The
Bean
lyrics,
is
the
Antichrist.
lyrics sound something like "Ecce homo qui est faba," right? It basically means, "Behold, here is the man who is a bean. This man is a bean. God has made him from a bean."
That is so fantastic. That makes my life just perfect.
In Latin.
I could be a live streamer and have burnt my house down on camera, and that still would have cheered me up.
What's funny is apparently that's the plot line. Is that the concept is God just makes a man from a bean.
So there was a plot all along to it.
That's been the plot the whole time, is that Mr. Bean is
You
literally a
wouldn't know
man
if you
that
didn't
God
speak
made
Latin.
from a bean.
You had to speak Latin to actually know the plot. That is genius.
You know, there's a lot of things like that. Like, did you ever watch The Thing, the 80s movie, The Thing?
Yes, I did.
Antarctica, Scary Monster.
I also watched the recent remake. I wasn't a fan of it.
I hadn't seen that, but you weren't a fan?
I didn't hate it, but I wasn't a fan.
Real quick, I'm going to open up this Oktoberfest here.
Do it. I'm going to have another moment of silence with my Tricera hops.
Mm-hmm.
Hoppy and lovey. It's very drinkable. Mine is halfway gone already.
So, The Thing.
The Thing. My thing.
If you knew, so in the beginning of The Thing, there's a man who is being chased by a dog. There's a man and a dog at the very beginning of the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall that? He's shouting in another language.
Yes, I do.
Here's the thing. If you knew his language, which I believe was Finnish, I can't recall. It may have been French.
I thought it was Finnish. I'm pretty
Finnish.
sure they were Finland.
That
Finland
sounds.
People of the Finlands.
So if you knew Finnish, it ruined the entire plot of the movie. Because
Okay.
the man was shouting, "Don't trust the dog. The dog is an alien. It'll eat you. Don't trust the dog." At the very beginning of the movie.
I love this. Now I have to go rewatch this with subtitles.
Anyone who watched the movie in Finland watched that and went, "Oh, don't touch the dog, stupid Americans."
Why don't the Finnish have fins?
That is a good question, and I don't have the answer for it.
And why would they name themselves Finnish if they didn't have fins? Did they have fins at one point and just evolve away from them because they're on land now?
You know, that would make sense. They eat a lot of fish.
They do.
It could be that that's where they originated from, and they just haven't changed their diet.
Are the Finnish cannibals?
No. Fish. There are different kinds of fish. You know, it's we can eat
mermen.
pigs without.
That's it. I've discovered the history of mer people.
They just moved to
became
Finland.
Finnish.
They became Finnish.
Oh my god, my bloodline. They're in my blood. There's mermaid blood in my veins.
So you're part mermaid?
No wonder I like to swim. You saw me in the ocean, Professor. You saw me out there just
That's
swimming
true.
away with
You
my
like to
broken
swim.
wrist.
You do like to swim.
I went swimming like forever with 2 broken bones.
Wow, that's
You don't remember me?
You
with
are
my...
part. You are part.
I had my arm like up to my chest. I'm swimming with the other arm out in the ocean. Then I went to made friends with that sea lion.
Oh yeah, you know what? No, I do remember that. I do
Yes.
remember that. Yeah.
And for the record, people, I'm not actually making up a joke. This is legit. This happened. We have footage.
You know was that same beach trip where a friend of ours brought alcohol, right?
Yes, that was the same.
Maybe
beach
that's
trip.
why it's a little fucky.
There was in fact alcohol, and we did in fact drink, and I made everyone stand around and play a game.
Which game was that?
We played the Would You for $1 Million.
That's right. Would you for $1 million? My goodness.
I was very proud of myself in that game because I made a lot of people what the fuck.
That's true, but they still went along with it.
Mm-hmm. And that makes them troopers, and that makes them awesome.
It's true. It's true.
Speaking of troopers, Katy Perry seems to be a pretty good trooper. Have you heard her recent endeavor?
No. What is Katy Perry up to?
Katy Perry was out and doing her normal Katy Perry thing, you know, doing musical stuff on stage, and she invited up a fan. I believe this was down in Rio, probably. Anyways, this fan came up when her
Was this the one with the drugs?
Yeah, the very drugged up lady.
Gosh.
And then she's groping and kissing and all sorts of stuff. Katy Perry just trooped through it. She really did.
I heard she actually just straight up called it out in front of the audience.
You know what?
Like something along the lines of, "Oh, she's rolling,"
Probably.
which I think is great, honestly. Instead of just avoiding it because it's obvious,
Yeah.
calling it out and just going like, she's rolling. Isn't that adorable?
My favorite part was at the end when she throws her cape open and she casts magic like, I'm a wizard, I'm fucking with your brain. That was perfect. But yeah, I've never really been like the biggest Katy Perry like follower, but when I heard about that, kudos on her.
Huh. Very nice. That's
I
very.
liked it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
I can appreciate someone who interacts with the fan base, even when the fan base is just a little off their rocker.
You gotta have some kind of drugs in your system to go up and think, I'm just gonna grope and make out with a celebrity on stage and not have any consequences.
They were right.
They were right. There weren't any consequences. Well, actually, no. I think they had the worst consequence of all. They're now infamous online for a stupid thing. Once that happens, it's permanent. It's done. It's gonna happen forever.
There are more stupid things you could be infamous for.
Well, yeah, you know what? You're right. You could do a podcast, and it could be like the dumbest thing on the internet, and you can become very infamous for its existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome, internet.
You're welcome, internet. That's what the internet's for.
So I want to talk about you a little bit.
About me?
About you. Yes.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So you do.
Since you've invited me on your podcast without warning.
You're welcome. You do your shows.
Mm-hmm.
What started the YouTube? Because you are a YouTuber, and for those who, again, for some reason you're new, just find this gentleman at Professor Elliot on YouTube. Watch all of his stuff.
Do a search on YouTube for Professor Elliot. You'll find me.
Click the like button, share it with all your friends, and don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to start this show? Were you looking to be famous? Did you just want to do it? Was it a hobby? Were you trying to get someone to look at something instead of the sex video that was leaked online?
It didn't have anything to do with the sex video.
Okay, which is fantastic. Thank you. I had a very wonderful FAP session. You're
welcome. The videos, it's kind of the gradual culmination of a lot of things in my life, honestly. From a very young age, I've always been a traveler. and a
Yes, that's
discoverer.
right. You grew up in Morocco, am I right?
Yeah, I spent a few years in Morocco. My parents were secret missionaries out there.
Secret missionaries.
Secret missionaries, yeah.
Oh my God, is that like 00777?
No, more like hiding translated Bibles in my bag.
Hiding translated. Shh, contraband.
Well, it was, and that was the thing, is we have a friend who was he was banned from ever coming back to Morocco because they actually caught him with his Bibles. He spent 2 weeks in prison. Spent 2 weeks in prison and then got kicked out of the country. He's never allowed back.
You know what I love about that is like someone could ask, so what are you in here for? God damn it.
That's exactly right. What my parents did is they hid the Bibles in my bag, put my little Elmo doll on the top, because at the time I was 3 or 4. And whenever we went through security, they'd unzip the bag, pull out the Elmo doll, and I'd go, "Oh, Elmo!" And they go, "Oh, do," and rub it in my face, and then put it back in the bag and zip up and go, "Oh, okay, you're good to go." Smooth
Wait
on.
a minute. So your parents used you
Yes.
as a mule.
That is exactly correct.
You're a Bible mule.
I am a Bible mule.
At any point, did they like cut you open and stitch them inside your body?
That never occurred to my memory. I think there might be some religious implications there.
Well, I think there might be some religious implications to using your child as a freaking mule. Just saying.
We have friends who have gotten away with the strangest things doing that kind of a thing. Like, we had friends who were trying to smuggle translated Bibles into Saudi Arabia.
Uh-huh.
They had a false roof on the top of the van, and the Bibles were stuffed in there. And when they're going across the border, the false roof starts caving in. So, oh shit, someone needs to hold it up. Like, otherwise it's not going to make it through. So they have someone in the van, the 16-passenger van, just holding up the roof as they get into customs. And customs looks in and goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And he looks at the police officer and just, "Honestly, I can't lie to you. This is a false roof, and we're trying to smuggle translated Bibles in there." And there's a short pause, and the customs officer just starts laughing hysterically and go, "Oh, you guys, go on through."
Nice.
Yeah. So
So-
I started traveling at an early age. That was
Before we move on, let me ask, what kind of drugs were actually in the Bibles you were smuggling in?
no drugs at all, believe it or not.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Okay, so continue on with the story.
So I grew up traveling, went traveling on my own, just independently. I've been to Switzerland, Egypt, Mexico, Haiti. I've traveled a bit, and I enjoy traveling. I've got a hell of a wanderlust.
And in all your travels, what would you say is your favorite destination?
Depends on what I'm looking for, really. I mean, it's all got its own thing. There's only a couple places on Earth that I wouldn't want to visit.
Okay,
Here.
what are those?
I don't want to go to Liberia. That place is just way too frightening.
Is it because it sounds like a library?
No, I'd prefer to go to the library. That sounds nice.
Okay.
Liberia is very different, and it's a scary place with constant warfare and just scary people in general.
Call of Duty, Constant Warfare.
Oof. Yeah, apparently it's such a scary place that many people opt not to eat meat because you don't know if it's human meat that someone's trying to get rid of.
That would be awesome. That's like the ultimate game for a cannibal. It's like, oh,
It could be. Might
cannibal
not be.
roulette. You know what? I'm going to make that a trend. That's going to be a thing. Cannibal roulette will be
I
a thing
do
one
not
day.
want to be involved in that.
One day we'll have a display of meats. Be like, all right, it's meat roulette. Find out what you're eating.
Actually, that sounds like a fun game.
But the thing is, we'll have some Jewish and Muslim people at the table. Then it's really roulette.
Get rosin involved.
Yes. We'll get
Oh,
rosin.
you tried your first bacon! Woo!
Ah, but my religion. Shut up. You lost.
That's what the roulette's about.
That's why it's roulette, motherfucker.
So, I also, from a young age, enjoyed telling people random facts. I was that kid who would always have something of, "Did you know?" At a certain point, around junior high, I decided to look up one of the facts that I was spouting off that I had learned off of like a Snapple cap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I looked it up, I don't even remember what it was at this point. I learned that it was not true. And I was embarrassed and shamed and terrified that I had just lied to a whole bunch of people with this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from that point forward, I was also really addicted to researching. So anytime that I'm finding something out, I go out and I research the hell out of it because I don't want to share false knowledge. And if someone finds something that I've shared that isn't true, I want to correct it. That's my goal, is to share the correct information. So kind of a combination of these things was the blog. The blog showed up first at ProfessorElliott.com. I started blogging all of these things, doing regular articles on odd facts and strange people and interesting histories. Once I met Destiny Commons, my other half and editor / creative director,
a very wonderful lady, I might add.
Yeah. We kind of both came to the conclusion that the blog needed to move into a further direction. We need to see this expand.
It must evolve.
It must evolve. Yeah, because it had been a few years at that point, several years at that point, that I had been blogging. So we started brainstorming, and our first idea was to do something along the lines of Professor Elliott's Adventure Club, which was a mixture of both exploring, traveling, telling random facts, and research on my end, so I can have the enjoyment on that end of things as well. That's
Why,
kind
sir,
of where
I think I
the YouTube
like
side,
it.
Yeah, that's where the YouTube side of things came from. It's just a culmination of me.
I do believe you're going to make it far, and when you do, I believe you're going to pay me a lot of money because I'm going to blackmail you for the sex video I still have.
Hey, you know what? You don't have to blackmail me. Just show up on a couple of episodes, and you can get a cut. How about that?
You heard it here, folks. Professor Elliott just threatened me on my own podcast.
You know what? I have just enough beer in me that I'll say this. How about you guest direct an episode?
Now I'm hard. So you're going to actually put my mind, the mind of Chimichanga Superstar, in charge of Professor Elliott?
That is correct. You know what? Here's what we can do. You should make... What we'll do is we'll produce 2 episodes, okay?
Okay.
Same location.
We'll
produce 1 episode that is inspired directly by what my channel usually produces.
I'm sure very entertaining but educational family entertainment show.
Correct. You can toss in a couple of the Chimmy-inspired things on there. I want your brain in on this. Then you direct a second episode about the same topic, but you do it full Chimmy style, and you put it on your channel.
Why don't we just film it all in one go, and we just work and edit?
That works great for me. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Let's film it. I think we should do it this month.
Let's do it.
This Oktoberfest is very tasty.
I'd like to go ahead and talk about the Triceratops a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's very drinkable. I'm going to give it a very good rating on the drinkability. The smell was good. It was just had something to be desired. It just smelled like an IPA. But the taste is very good. You can actually tell the taste, and you can separate the flavors as opposed to some other IPAs that are just a buttload of hops. And downside is I haven't had to belch this entire episode, so I can't give it much on burpability. But Ninkasi Triceratops, I think I'm gonna give you a good solid 4. It was still very enjoyable.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
Should I rate the Oktoberfest?
No, fuck Oktoberfest. You drink pumpkin. I can't trust your taste buds.
Oh, okay. Well, I understand. I'll just drink it then.
Yes. No more talking about it. Just drink it.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to play around with the Star Wars Battlefront beta.
Really?
I gotta say, my nipples are ready. My nipples are so ready for this.
Is that good?
It's really good. It's still keeping to the very classic where it's just a multiplayer, but kind of like a very nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Kind of like it reminded me a little bit of Titanfall, how you didn't really have a story mode, but you kind of had narrative during the gameplay while you're playing against other players or bots, however you do it.
Okay.
And it was cool. And it's just gorgeous. Actually, shooting the weapons was fantastic because you do feel like you're shooting the laser gun. You actually, when you shoot and you hit the wall or hit something, you see these sparks fly, and they're not like a little pixelated effect. It's actually sparks causing an interaction, and you feel like you just fired a bolt of plasma across the field, and it hits something. And it's so cool. And then the sparks will rain down, interact, and bounce off things. It's really spot on, really good stuff.
Wow.
And then it was really cool to see that the weapons involved on it seem to have a little bit more of
tell me the functionality of this game, because I don't really know much about it.
It's just a shooter. It's a
Shooter
player
from-
versus player shooter from the Star Wars universe.
Within vehicles, or just you and gun?
You start out with you and a gun. You get to choose your class or your role, I guess is a better way to put it.
Okay.
And a new change of pace for the franchise is you actually pick your weapons ahead of time, your loadout. And you do have vehicles to choose from, which in the beta there weren't a whole lot.
Okay.
However, you're supposed to be able to have full-fledged space battles and flying around and attacking enemy ships.
Awesome.
And getting into a speeder and flying around or an X-Wing or a TIE fighter.
100% in.
Yeah, it's beautiful, fantastic game. The beta was fun. I only got to play one map, but I played it repetitively, and it was just great. And I'm really excited for this.
It was repeatable. Like, you
Very
played that
repeatable.
map over and over again, and you still had some fun out of that.
I face-fucked so many stormtroopers, it's not even funny. There are
Then I won't
very
laugh.
specific holes in the helmets of a lot of bodies on that muddy hill.
Dear Lord.
Dear Lord, indeed.
Only mildly disturbing.
Only excruciatingly arousing. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the game, and I definitely want to get my hands on playing with in the past games you could if you get enough points you can come into the map and play as like Darth Vader, or Obi-Wan, or someone special, Boba Fett, and I wanted to get that in this version because I want to see how the gameplay is going to be different, because it's still first person, I believe. And I'm excited for this. I want to walk around and force choke bitches, and then my favorite way to play is just grab someone, pick them up, have them float there, and have all my friends shoot them. I call it Force Pinata.
That's how you play it. That's how you play it. When you got the Force, why wouldn't you?
Then another cool thing they got announced was there's a new Far Cry game. Are you familiar with Far Cry at all?
Yes, a little bit. I'm not much of a gamer, but I know enough about it to get references and how the games function.
It's okay. No one's perfect. The old games were kind of like a shooter, where you first person shooter, and you get to explore. There's a lot of adventure to it. Really fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this one decided to go a new pace. They were talking about how they're just really going to go on something edgy and make it really gritty, and they've gone back to like the idea of tribalism and stuff like that in the past games. This one, they're going full primal. This one is called Far Cry Primal, and it goes all the way back to the Stone Age.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
a hell of an
twist.
announcement. That's a hell of an announcement. Instead of going around with AKs and like skydiving off of mountain cliffs and wingsuiting down, now you're a freaking caveman with a stone spear, and they show you like you're hunting in a pack and trying to kill woolly mammoths, and you don't really get much of the story out of this trailer. It's just a reveal trailer.
I really want to play that.
I think this is right up your alley. I think we should definitely get some recordings and do some Let's Plays on this thing, man.
That sounds awesome. I'd totally join you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
So we gotta keep our eye on this one. This one looks pretty good.
Similar to well-known media going backwards in time.
Yeah.
Sherlock. Do you watch Sherlock?
A little bit.
A little bit. The BBC series Sherlock.
Little bit.
They just announced. They just put out the new teaser trailer. The new trailer for the new season.
Uh-huh.
And apparently, it's taking place in the 19th century.
How the fuck did they make that?
They're no longer doing the modern era Sherlock. They're just doing a straight adaptation of Sherlock Holmes.
Same actors?
Same actors for the entire thing. Every single character, same actor, but they've teleported it back to the 19th century where the
Did
original
Doctor
Sherlock
Who come in and rape the show or something? Did he just come wipe his TARDIS balls all over everything and say congratulations, back in time, bitch?
I guess, but you know what? I'm interested to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of fun. It looks like a classic Sherlock Holmes spin.
Not gonna complain. Sounds kind of cool.
And Watson's got a handlebar mustache that looks exactly like Jimmy's.
All right.
So
I approve just on the mustache alone.
Can't go wrong there.
No, you can't. You can't go wrong with any mustache. Even a hot chick with a mustache on. Pff, totally doable.
I'm down.
10 out of 10. Would bang.
10 out of 10. Bearded woman, man. Bearded woman.
Bearded woman. Sorry.
I've got a photo of a bearded woman. Might have to bring it to you sometime.
You might need to bring it to me and leave me alone with it.
It's a postcard. It's got a lot of puns on the top. Wait, let me see if I can grab it. I'll just read you a couple of the puns from this postcard because I think you'll enjoy just the description.
Creepy.
So, it says, "This is Lotta Beaver, known in the circus as the human soup strainer. Miss Beaver wanted $2,500 a week for appearing this season, but after beating around the bush, she finally agreed to shave off something. And when the manager offered her $2,000, she grabbed at it. You're almost a cinch to be tickled with Lotta."
I'm guessing there are some innuendos in there.
Oh, there's quite a few. Even her name is Lotta Beaver.
Lotta Beaver. Oh, did you hear about that? The high-ranking Orthodox priest that's having to step down.
No, what did he do?
Well, he had an affair. He and his
That's a no-no.
Yeah, he and his wife are going bye-bye because he was seen at a lady. But the story, that's not even the weird part of the story. The weird part is the affair itself.
Okay.
See, apparently this man had a very specific fetish in which the woman he was having the affair with was willing to satisfy this very, very unique, very, very bizarre, very, very, oh my god, what the fuck fetish.
Okay.
His fetish is to have a woman's ass smash, crush, squish, I might even say. Not any ordinary, but a very specific single serving of pound cake with her ass.
Huh. Everyone's got their thing.
How do you go your whole life and that be your fetish?
I don't know. You know what? I heard about. So I was speaking with someone who she actually has a PhD, but she used to work as a dominatrix, and one of her clients, his whole kink, this is true. He enjoyed pretending to be baked like a turkey.
Pretending to be baked
so
like a turkey.
He wanted her to do the whole ordeal of like, okay, I'm basting the turkey. All right, stick it in the oven. She'd push him across the floor, and she'd set the timer and say, okay, it's in for an hour, and I'll check on it in an hour, and she'd just leave him in the room baking for an hour.
Is this dude just like the really creepy dude, like sitting by the kitchen on Thanksgiving, just watching someone make a turkey and be like, yeah, baste it. Oh, baste it.
I bet he's not invited to family dinners anymore.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet. He probably just gets like a care package like from FedEx. Like, here's the turkey.
Here's the turkey. Eat it, you sick fuck.
Lots of love, your Fam Bam.
Oh, God.
I mean, could you imagine discovering that your fetish is having a woman's ass squish an individual serving of pound cake?
Is that really a discovery, though, or is it more of a gradual thing? So maybe
I think it was like
first,
champagne. I think it was an accident. I think she sat down at like a gathering, and her ass, her very fine, succulent ass, squished ever so slowly this individual serving of pound cake, and then this gentleman, for the first time, just puberty, bam. Oh,
wow!
That's what an erection is. Now I'm erect. Now I'm ready. I can't believe I've gone my entire life and not known this was my true calling.
Well, there was a scientist who, for the longest time, he was claiming like if you have erectile dysfunction, you can't cure it. It's not possible. And then he saw his wife peeing for the first time, and he got an erection, and he claimed that was the cure for erectile dysfunction, was to see women pee. It's like, no, dude, you found your kink.
That man is a very special golden man.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, people are weird. Their fetishes are weird. No, the guy straight up admitted in an interview in an interview, he said straight up, this is the only way he can achieve arousal, is by witnessing this first. And they apparently experimented with other pound cakes, like regular size pound cakes, store bought pound cakes. It didn't work. It had to be this very specific single serving size.
Huh. That's an interesting. Well, I suppose the experimentation that'll eventually you'll figure it out, but it's an interesting thing to figure out.
Well, it's kind of weird because like he's got this kink, and my kink is like having a woman has to take a Three Musketeers bar and write my name in the wall with the Three Musketeers bar while wearing lederhosen. That's the only way I can achieve arousal.
Did not know that about you.
Yes, probably didn't want to know that about me.
I need to be surrounded by open books.
Open books.
Open books.
Sounds like a fire hazard.
Mm-hmm.
Don't play with that new letter you got.
No. I'm not a YouTuber. Oh, I am a YouTuber. Oh, dear God.
Yeah, you're doomed. Now, he wasn't a YouTuber. He was a Twitch,
you're right.
He was a Twitch streamer.
Twitch streamer. I'm
So
not a
you're
Twitch
safe.
streamer, so I'm still safe.
You're safe for now.
Although, speaking of which,
I like how that brought something up.
I would like to do one last shout-out real quick.
Uh-oh.
If your viewers could just take a look on YouTube and search for Inside the Devil's Gate.
Inside the Devil's Gate with Professor Elliot and the Adventure Club.
That is the latest episode of the new season of Professor Elliot's Adventure Club.
Now, you do two shows. You do Professor Elliot's Adventure Club as well as Rarities.
Yes, Rarities with Professor Elliot.
So compare the two for the audience.
So Adventure Club is a lot larger in scale. We go out to a location, we go exploring. There's usually some element of danger. First season, we went to an abandoned gold mine. We went and explored a shipwreck, things of that nature. In this latest episode, we go to a tunnel that is purportedly a gate to hell, where L. Ron Hubbard, Jack Parsons, who co-founded JPL, and Aleister Crowley all tried to summon the Whore of Babylon. So that's the kind of stuff that we're doing in that show.
And in the episode, you go into great detail. Apparently, they all gather around and play Ookie Cookie with some redhead who they thought was, in fact, what they were trying to summon, and it's a weird thing.
Yeah, no big spoilers, though. Go check the episode out. Really. It's worth it.
Trust me, there's no spoilers with me saying there was Ookie Cookie involved.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happened with that. And there's a lot that I didn't even talk about in the episode that's just like...
Not family friendly.
Not family. I try to keep it a hard PG-13.
So we can't talk about orgies and stuff.
Right. Or yeah, things of that nature. There's some dark stuff that went on with that, man. Unbelievable. In any case, so that's what Adventure Club is all about. It's the bigger, grand adventure, sort of dangerous element, strange things.
Oh, I like it.
Rarities is still the strange things and going and exploring, but less on the danger adventure side. So that gold mine we went to, nearby there is the original cabin of the guy who first dug the gold mine. So I went down there and talked about the man who found the gold mine. Rarities is all about the strange side of life, but without the danger involved in exploring it.
We should send you to like a BDSM kink party or something for Rarities.
I don't want to do that again.
Here's how people enjoy randomness acts of butt pluggings.
Yeah, once is enough for me.
You've been to one before, have you?
Yeah, it was not intentional.
Now that's the story we need to talk about.
So I was visiting my cousin Jen in San Francisco. It was my first time in San Francisco. I had been having a wonderful weekend visiting her. She had suggested that we go to a club. And she knows that I don't like going clubbing. It's not really my thing. I don't like, it's not for me.
I believe we have shared this story before. Continue.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar to me.
So, she had mentioned that at one point in the past, I think it was a couple years before, I had mentioned a story about my friends talking about going to a goth club and how I found it interesting, the difference in culture. And so she thought that meant, oh, Elliot wants to go to a goth club. So she said, hey, I know of a goth club. You want to go there? Because I know you want to go to one. I'm like, well, I'm interested, I guess. If I'm going to go to a club, that sounds interesting to see. So we go. It turns out it was not a goth club. She mixed up goth and BDSM. So that was interesting. That's the best way to describe it. The first moment that I realized it was when we walked in the door, turned the corner, and there's a naked woman tied upside down on a spider web being whipped.
Did you join in on the whipping?
No, mostly I was a really awkward kid upstairs sitting at a table while she went dancing.
You wasted a naked hanging woman. You did not whip that woman?
I did, but I was approached by another topless woman who spoke to me for like an hour. She's like, "You look new here." Ha! Really?
You look scared. Why are you shaking?
Why are you so freaked out? Yeah, and so
Why
she
are your
spoke to me
tits
for a
out?
while, and at the end of our conversation, she said, "You know what? I really enjoyed this, but I have to go. It's my turn." And she went downstairs where she got tased.
No, that sounds like a typical Tuesday to me.
You know, it was an adventure, and I'm up for adventure.
Adventure.
I'm much
With
more
the
open to
taser.
adventure these days.
Haha, he's much more open these days. Therefore, everyone go rush, take him to a BDS party. BDSM party?
Before I lose my nerve.
Before he
beers
loses his nerve. Well, everybody, I think we're going to go ahead and start winding to a close. But thank you, Professor, for being ambushed on podcast.
Thank you for ambushing me.
Well,
It's been fun.
I needed an episode, and something had to happen. But you all heard it here. Go ahead and please go check out Professor Elliott's YouTube page, Professor Elliott. Is it just Professor Elliott?
Professor Elliott. If you just search for Professor Elliott on YouTube, or you could go to ProfessorElliott.com. That's Elliott with 2 L's and 1 T.
His webpage. Make sure you subscribe, like, blah, blah, blah. Click the stuff for both him and here at Chimmy. Please click like on this show, subscribe, and share it to your friends. Spread the fun, spread the wealth.
I'm subscribed.
As always, may the awesomeness be with you.